the Lone Eagle, and what I wrote, and President Trump called me and he said, Ray, that it brought him to tears. And I wrote, they wanted me to explain what the symbolism of the Lone Eagle. And I said, Mr. President, many times during your presidency, you overcame insurmountable challenges by people with just evil intent. And I said, and many times you stood alone. I said, the level of forces will have the moments in time as surely as evil will inherently topple itself. God's immutable governing power will always right what is wrong in the end. President Trump, you held that vision as sacred, and he did. Again, none of us are perfect. The light that's lit up. How late was that man working? Did he hurt your feelings? I'm sorry. Boo-hoo.
This is artist Ray Simon discussing his portrait of former President Donald Trump, who sits godlike above a very realistic depiction of the White House. Apparently, Trump was in tears when he saw the painting of himself, which Simon modeled after George Washington's stance in the famous Emanuel Leutz painting of the first president crossing the Delaware River. Now, I'm not one to, outright just insult a piece of artwork on here, but let's just say I have a hard time believing that anyone could possibly cry over this one. A hyper-realistic, contrived, tacky painting like you would find in the rec room of a church or something. But the funniest part of this so-called exchange between the painter and Trump to me is that Trump allegedly asked what the bald eagle symbolized, which I don't know, if you were president of the United States of America for 4 years, I would hope you can look at the symbol of an eagle and take a wild guess what it might represent. It's not like it's an important bird in the history of American symbolism, right? But we all know that Trump's own taste in art and his personal style is not exactly something to be proud of.
And you see, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, it embodies that man. And again, he really is very similar to President George Washington.
Equating Trump and the founding fathers is, of course, ridiculous, as many with critical thinking skills would realize that he is more like their worst nightmare. Ignorance, narcissism, the list goes on and on as to why Trump shouldn't be counted in the same breath as our founding fathers. And that's not to say that those men didn't have enemies and enmity. Historian Nancy Eisenberg, who wrote a recent biography on John Adams, notes that Adams was no stranger to controversy, ego, and ambition, but she says, quote, he really believed in the importance of institutional balance because he assumed that fame and ambition was in every person's heart, and that no government structure itself, in a sense, is inevitably going to be perfect. You have to find a way to check the natural impulses of humans. In other words, it's natural for human beings to want to achieve and then maintain power, especially in politics. What makes a politician great is their capacity to curb those human impulses to help the greater good. That second part is why no painting could possibly succeed in landing Trump in that circle of America's greatest leaders. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.